Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo.
Hello and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. This episode is all about getting you to think of your new definition of healthy. Very often when we think of healthy, we are bombarded by the media and we think six-pack abs and we think eating everything perfect and committing to the gym and blah, 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 blah. And listen, if that's your version of healthy, fine, but I would say I'm probably speaking for 97% of you, where your definition of healthy, and maybe you thought that's what it was, but hopefully after listening to this episode, you feel a little bit better about redefining your version. So I talk about this very often, and I truly, truly mean it. Healthy looks different on everybody. There are many, many ways to be healthy. The goal is just to find your way. And so what I thought would be helpful is if I shared with you a couple of things that my followers have posted about, my clients. We did a group call the other day, and they shared what their new version of healthy is, so that you can get yourself thinking about what yours is. So before I do that, I want to be clear that it is more than just your physical health. Your physical health definitely matters, but what's the point of losing 10 pounds if you're actually miserable, right? The whole purpose of getting healthy is to also get your mind healthy. Sometimes you take one before the other. Sometimes they happen together. Either way, the goal of your health is not just physical, it's also mental. Okay, so what I'm going to share with you first is just a couple of things that I posted on my story, and I asked my followers on Instagram to just say, what does healthy mean to you? And I'm just going to share these with you. And then we're going to go into a little bit in more greater detail what my client said and kind of the conversation that we had in our group call the other day. So a couple of things. Someone said, for what does healthy mean to you? Someone said, moving my body every day and getting rest, which I really liked. Sometimes we think it's just super, super active, being super motivated and staying moving, but not giving your body that time of rest. So I like that. Someone else said, staying true to my values. Yes, love that. Someone else said, pain-free, strong immune system, medication-free, and resilient. Love that. Someone else, being strong, evolving, feeling good in my mind and body. Awesome. Someone else said, fueled by nutrient-dense foods. Another person said, eating foods I love while maintaining fitness, weight, and happiness. Beautiful. And then someone else said, preparing whole foods, reducing sugar, and losing 10 pounds. Okay. So those are just some examples. Some of those had physical, some of those had mental. The ones that had both physical and mental is what I'm going to really strive for you guys to achieve. So I love that. Eating foods I love. So that doesn't mean just eating foods just because it's healthy, right? So eating food she loves, but if she's going to be maintaining her weight and her fitness and her overall happiness, there's going to be a balance between loving the foods that she eats, but also choosing nutrient-dense foods. And I promise you, the more you eat them, the more you enjoy them. But it also means that there's probably a little bit of room for like a donut here and there or whatever food that she really enjoys. So that way she's not miserable while eating healthy and exercising. There's some happiness there. So I really, really like that one. And then someone else here said, staying true to my values. I've always struggled with, I never really understood why I would always beat myself up when I would skip a workout or not really eat well. And I've gotten a really long way, and I am definitely more balanced about it, and I don't beat myself up anymore. But what I realized was that the reason why it bothered me is because it's important to me. So it's important to know what your values are, because it'll help you understand if something's bothering you or not, and then help you teach you. Now I got to the point where, okay, well, I know that on the days that I don't work out and the days that I don't eat well, I don't feel good. It feels off to me. Healthy living is important to me. So now I do my absolute best to commit to that in small ways. And that doesn't mean I have to kill myself in the gym every day, and it doesn't mean that I have to eat perfectly, but it does mean that when I move my body and when I eat well, I feel good. And so that's why I do that, because it's something that I value. Okay. So let's move more into my clients. This was a great conversation. I really, really enjoyed it. So most of the people that I work with, it's very individualized. It's very one-on-one. They get weekly calls. They have unlimited support in an app. It's very, very hands-on. I love that part about it, because that's their opportunity to really sift through all of the noise and just get, what is it for me that I need? So I absolutely love that. Secondly, though, I will say the group calls that I also provide for them are really amazing. It's really, really amazing, because I get to hear them teach each other, and I get to listen to how far they've grown, and I get to watch the light bulb go off in their head, and I get to hear them supporting one another and giving great advice. And I think that the best part about it is they realize that they're not alone, and that they're not the only person feeling that way, and they're not the only person struggling, and they're not the only person who's choosing to change for the better, both mentally and physically. And so it's really comforting in that. So anyways, so what a lot of people, I will share, a lot of people that did share what healthy means to them, they also shared that growing up, that's not what they were taught or what they were told, and that a lot of it had to take, kind of joining the program and realizing that I don't have to go by society standards and what healthy actually is. So one of my clients, and I want to keep names out just to keep it anonymous, to keep, everything confidential. I don't want anybody, information out there that didn't give me permission to do so. So one of my clients said that being healthy to her used to be what she thought was drinking shakes and barely eating whole foods and just kind of drinking liquids, and that was healthy because that's what she grew up around. Now she realizes that being healthy for her is taking care of her whole self. So it's eating healthy and balanced, but she also mentioned about getting to sleep on decent hours and managing her stress and being there for her, which I absolutely love that. Another one of my clients said that being healthy for her is she's working on it, but what her goal is for health is being able to be a part of a social situation, or when if her husband comes home or the kids say they want ice cream and all of that, and she's doing, all of the temptations are around her. It's being in charge of her choices, meaning sometimes she might want to have that donut or that ice cream or the pastries or the snacks at the party or whatever it is. And then sometimes she might not want to, but either way, what she's saying, by her being in charge of her diet, then therefore she is going to only engage when she actually wants to, not just because it's there. Okay? And that's pretty big. That's pretty big. Not being influenced by others, being able to stay in tune with you of what you genuinely want, and adhering to that is really a big deal. So that was pretty great. Another one of my clients said that she's realizing more and more that healthy to her means setting boundaries and being a little bit more selfish. And we couldn't agree more. This was one of my clients who, since she's become a little bit more selfish, and it's not that she's still not taking care of other people, she's just choosing to take care of herself first. She's successfully losing weight each week. And that's the thing. It's not always about weight loss, but it's kind of awesome that when you do start to take care of yourself, and you kind of focus on all the other things, that tends to be a byproduct. One of my other clients said that she wants to be strong. She loves getting into the gym and hitting PRs. And so being healthy allows her to run around with her kids and just feel like that strong person. And this was really helpful for us to identify, because she also expressed that right now she's having a hard time, because I am recording this during the pandemic and when we're still forced and all the gyms are closed. And she's just been having a really hard time with it. And she's really, really, really missing the gym. And we all agree that there's that part of us that just wishes that gym would be back open. That might make everything a little bit better. But more and particularly for her, because like there's things we can do at home, right? You can lift little dumbbells. You can go for runs. You can use the bike, whatever it is. If you have that at home, like there's many of home workouts to do. But someone who values being strong, and she's someone who does heavy lifting and competitive lifting, for her to not have that, it's like a part of her was taken away. And so then now we understand, at least, although there's very little that we can do in that situation to give her that same feeling, it's at least comforting to know where it's coming from and to understand it's like, oh, that's why it really feels like this heavy, like this much. I miss the gym this much. It's not just because of all the other stuff going on. It's like this being strong and what healthy means to me is really important to me. And I don't have that outlet. And so now we have to focus, obviously, on the other parts of what being healthy is, which is she also mentioned about making sure that she has, she's feeling, not just fueling herself, and being kind of in charge of what's being prepared for her family, for herself, but also for her family. And making sure, and she knows that she's preparing well-balanced meals and setting a good example for her children. So that was important to her. Another one of my clients, she loved what she said here. She said that she's a work in progress. And right now, her version of healthy is managing her anxiety while also eating balanced meals, but recognizing that what she used to think was healthy was being skinny. What she's learning now is being healthy is just eating well and moving her body. And as a result, she's lost weight, but she's at a weight that she's learning to be comfortable with. But once again, it's not about the weight. It's about her eating healthy and balanced and working out regularly and feeling really good and knowing that that could change. And so I want to be clear, guys, that your version of healthy can change and will change. And if anything, it should change, because I gave this example with my group. It's like right now, my version of healthy is probably the most, I don't know how to put this, but like, my version of healthy, I've learned a lot, I've grown a lot, but okay, here's what I want to say about that. My version of healthy could be anything it wants to be, and this is why. I literally am here by myself. I have my 2 cats. My boyfriend is down south. I could work out every day. I could order in my meals. I could meal prep perfectly. I have nobody scheduled but my own. I have my clients, but I run my own business, so I could technically arrange that how I want to. Like, I'm very fortunate. I know that. It's actually kind of amazing that I'm not pressuring myself to do all of those things because I can just because you can doesn't mean you should. But I say that to say that my version of healthy now is going to look a lot different than when I have a family. And if I choose to have a family and have children and be on other people's schedules, the demands are just so much higher. And not saying that any woman or man or anyone with a family can't do that, but just the point being is that there might be just different shifts. My body, as I get older, is going to change. And so maybe what once was, for me, being healthy was, being super fit and lean. As I get older, maybe that's no longer, maybe it's possible, but maybe the stress of trying to achieve that goal and trying to get to and I didn't have a baby, but let's just say like pre-baby weight, I think for some of the moms out there, like maybe that's not realistic. Maybe being realistic is accepting your body for what it is right now, healing your relationship with food, and trying your absolute best to move your body, but not punish your body, if that makes sense. All right. And so then lastly, one other of my clients, she mentioned that what healthy means to her is complete balance. And she's someone who has come from the extreme world. She's been kind of on both ends of the spectrum, super, super fit and very overweight. And right now she's in the middle of that, and she's working on what I kind of just said, which is accepting her body as is, healing her relationship with food, and finding that by her practicing balance and not going into those extremes, she's also setting a good example for her daughter. Okay, so I hope this got you guys thinking of a few different ways that you can define healthy. I hope that you recognize that it has literally nothing to do with what you look like. That becomes a byproduct, and I will say that as you start to take care of yourself a little bit more, your skin will probably clear up, your energy will be up, you'll have this glow about you, you'll feel really good, you'll probably walk with a little bit more of like a strut and some confidence, but you might not, but it's not, you're not, most of us realistically are not getting six-pack abs, and that's okay. Okay, but if you want to work for it, and that's part of your level of commitment to fitness and dedication, and you have a healthy relationship with food, and you want to go for that, totally fine. Honestly, guys, it's all about your mindset. If you find yourself obsessing and stressing, physically exhausted, mentally exhausted, and it's just so hard, you're doing it wrong. Okay, healthy, believe it or not, is supposed to be easy. So your habits, it's just, you feel good, you want to do more of it, you love your body where it is, you love working towards maybe even a healthier version of that, and that could be, that's not weight related, it could be the way that you fuel yourself, whatever it is, my point is that it's yours. And when you have a clear definition of what healthy is, when you know what you want to look like, what you want to feel like, how you want to be, then the what and the how to get there becomes clear. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please tag me, screenshot the episode, tag me on your story at tips_with_Tony. Let me know this resonated with you. Let me know what your version of healthy is. I really appreciate you listening to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.